Was it you behind this leak? He asked, making your eyes go a bit wide. No, you're wrong, you replied as confidently as you could. Really? She tilted her head a bit to the side and suddenly the door of the conference room opened, revealing Jungkook. He was looking calm and cold as always. What is going on here? He asked, raising his eyebrows at you two. I was just wondering who can be behind this leak of information. She smiled at Jungkook. He understood what she meant to say. Are you trying to blame Wyan? He asked straightforwardly. I won't play around the bush. Yes, I think. Because such a thing never happened before in this company. And except for you, Wyan is the only person who lives at your mansion. She had numerous chances to steal the information. You have it saved in your laptop, as well as you always have a copy of it in your drawer. She replied, making you look down. Jungkook looked at you from the corner of his eyes. Of course, he is going to take her side like before and blame me. And this time I had to accept it, but I am really at fault. You thought to yourself, but were amazed by his response. I don't think it's Wyan. He replied, Are you serious, Jungkook? Don't act blind. You know exactly. You know my doubt has a point. Maya looked at him in disbelief. I know what you are pointing at, but I want to trust her, he said and walked away without looking back even once. I seriously can't believe him. He looked at you and walked away. Why? Just why? You looked at them as a drop of tear rolled down your cheeks, making you feel guilty in deep inside. Sir, why don't you tell Miss Wyan that you know the truth? Mr. Tim asked, looking at Jungkook, who was busy signing the documents placed in front of him. Jungkook paused for a second and looked up. I can't for now, until I make sure her sister is safe. Did you find anything about her? Where's about it? Sorry to disappoint you, sir, but it's really hard to find her location. I'm trying my best. He apologized. Make sure I have it in my hands by this week, he said and started signing the documents again. Yes, sir. And more, find out who leaked information to another company, Jungkook said, still looking at the documents. He walked out and were stunned to see Sojun standing by his car as if he was waiting for someone, and you could also see all the females passing by had their eyes glued on him. The moment he spotted you coming out of the building, he called out your name. Wyan! He smiled your direction, making everyone look at you. Looks like he has a girlfriend. You could hear them. Ignoring them, you smiled at him and headed towards him. What are you doing here? I thought about visiting you as I got to know it's your first day at the company. How did you... Does that matter? Let's go. I'll drop you home, he said, opening the front door of his car. He smiled and got in, unaware someone was waiting for you to come out and go home with him for an hour now. Sir, looks like a lady already headed. The driver was about to complete, but got interrupted. Go home. The voice from the back seat was scary and cold. Without looking back, he started driving. Thank you for the ride. You smiled at Sojun, who smiled back, nodded his head in return. Suddenly, a loud car horn grabbed your attention. You looked at your left and saw Jungkook getting out of his car. Your eyes met, and for some reason you felt sad. What's this feeling? You thought to yourself as you broke eye contact and looked away. Jungkook headed straight towards the door, ignoring you and Sojun completely. He must be stressed, he said, making you look at him. You were about to speak up until his phone buzzed. He looked at the phone screen and continued. Looks like I have to get going. I'll meet you later. He smiled, getting into the car and drove away. You watched his car silently for a while before turning around to head inside the house. Sitting on your bed, you were busy thinking, why did Jungkook give you that look? Though he was silent, his eyes said a lot. Distracting yourself from that thought, you freshened up and headed downstairs for the dinner. Miss, please have your seat. I will serve your food, she said, making you nod in response. You sat down at the table and there was no one else except for you. Where are the others? You asked, looking around. Your eyes were only searching for Jungkook. Miss Lily went back with her brother today afternoon, she replied while serving food. What about Jungkook? You asked, making her pause for a second. He said he won't be having dinner tonight. Saying that, she walked away. You looked down at. Is it because of that project? You mumbled underneath your breath. You lost your appetite as well. You got up from the chair and walked away. Sitting by the window in your bedroom, with the lights off, looking at the moon, and all the flashbacks of what happened today at the company started playing inside your head. You looked down with a heavy heart. I know, I'm wrong, but for Tina, I can do anything. You mumbled, biting your lips. You headed towards the bed, and suddenly a familiar voice grabbed your attention, as if someone was in pain. You headed outside and followed the voice, which was now clear enough for you to hear. You were stunned as you stood in front of Jungkook's bedroom. It's coming from inside. You mumbled and were about to knock on the door until you noticed the door was not locked. Not knowing what to do, you slowly opened the door of the room, making sure you don't make any noise, and headed inside. The room was filled with darkness except for the dim glow of the bedside lamp. Taking small steps, you headed towards the bed and stood beside it, staring down at Jungkook, who was groaning in his sleep. No, don't. Please, don't leave me. His voice was weak and his face turned pale. This was the first time you ever saw this side of Jungkook. He was trembling in fear. Mom, Dad, he murmured as a drop of tear rolled down from his closed eyes, making you freeze at the spot. His sad expressions were screaming for help, but his body was enduring the pain, even in the pain, not allowing him to relax even for a minute, which made my heart drop. I sat down on the bed beside him and slowly ruffled his hair in an attempt to calm him down. The brows relaxed as I looked at him. Even his resting face was enough to make me feel as if hundreds of swords were preached through my heart. I have never seen him smile, never seen him talk his heart out, never seen him express himself. What exactly are you going through? I mumbled and got up from the bed. After glancing at him for the last time, I left the room. Jungkook slowly opened his eyes and looked to his side, where you were sitting just a while ago. He stayed silent for a while, but soon a few words left his mouth. It's hard to explain. Everything is going well. For some reason, since the day you saw Jungkook in that state, you have acted guilty. Jungkook was still the same cold and rude. Every time you saw him, something in you moved, making you feel hurt. Company went through a lot of losses since. Wyan, you looked up and found Nora standing next to you with a smile. Nora was the only person who approached you out of all the people out here. Let's head for the meeting, she said, making you nod in response. The project information was leaked by our competitive company, she said, making you think. Does that mean she actually struck a deal with other companies to bring Jones Corporation down? You were busy in your thoughts until Maya called out to you. Wyan, Nora, who was sitting beside you, placed a hand over your thighs from under the table, snapping you out of your thoughts. Miss Wyan, don't you have anything to say? She asked, making you look at her in confusion. I mean, what should be the punishment for the person who dared to do this? She asked with smirk. Everyone around looked at you, making you sweat.